Valor. Ooh, this is kind of rough, though. I mean, having the Death Knight being in line of sight constantly, it's going to be kind of rough for him. I mean, you know that it's basically a ticking time bomb when he's going to run out of ways to get out of stuns, ways to heal himself. And as long as they can put a little CC onto Glyptic.
Can I hear it for the beginning of Day 2 at Blizzcon? We've got GameSense DNAW versus Yaz Presents. EU first versus EU second.
All right. So top left on your screen is going to be Yaz Presents. Of course, Glyptic running Resto Shaman. Another on DK. And of course, Fabs playing the Warlock. Top right is going to be GameSense DNAW, which is going to be Dakroth playing Warlock. We've got Rodriguez playing the Mage. And to sum up the MLS, of course, we have the Shaman, Drudenhouse, who's been playing amazing this weekend. We'll have to see who can come out on top.
Yep, and he's immediately going to stay back to Big Pillar. I was going to see if he's going to rush small, but no. They're going to set up MLS just right here in the middle, and another is obviously the weakest link in that team, being the only melee class. So and he's just going to have to focus him
right
down.
from the beginning, they're going to go straight on him. We see an impact stun onto another, while Glyptic is under an unstable affliction silence right there. And look at that, already forcing the anti-magic shield out of him.
It's beautiful. 20 seconds in, and you've got major DK cooldown out of the way. Rodriguez taking a lot of pressure from that DK, and he's got dots rolling on him, but he's got all of his procs up. He's got fingers and braided freeze, and has to block, unfortunately.
So early.
House.
Pretty early block, that offensive pressure, forcing it right there.
Of
course, another's pet is up, and it's going to charge and get the stun off onto Drudenhouse, it looks like. And one thing to note is Rodriguez playing his best, of course. He spell stole Fab's Demon Soul earlier, which is going to provide a lot of negative damage on that dodge. But look at Rodriguez down to half, having the ice barrier right there. Gets gripped back.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a difficult match for any caster, Mage specifically, because the cooldown between your Pet Nova, your Nova, and your barrier, which gives you Shatter Barrier, is long enough for sure for a DK to close distance and just wail on you for 10
And look at that,
seconds.
he is just dumping damage into another. Another's life bar is not moving whatsoever. But Rodriguez down to half. This is a dangerous situation, of course, for GameSense. And Rodriguez getting even lower as he has to block again. Cold snapping, that's it. This is his last block. Sitting in half, has not been picked up quite yet. Where is Drudenhouse?
Yeah, and Glyptic's mana is fine. It's not like they're forcing Yaz Present's hand here at all. He throws down a ring. Yeah, it looks like he catches the DK and his pet in that ring there briefly, so it'll be good to interrupt that pressure.
Yeah, that was a good AMZ right there on top of the ring, because another knows he can't move right now. Rodriguez still down to half.
Glyptic getting a UA silence there for a second. If they could get some CC going on him, which MLS is extremely good at.
Here comes those necrotic strikes as they're stacking up on Rodriguez. Rodriguez isn't getting any heals until
it's
it's off.
coil at a deep freeze. Trey gets it into a howl. It gets out of it 7k health. Spirit Link Totem goes
saves
down.
the day. Yet again, another down to half, but the entire team, another howl going out. Fabs sitting at half right now also. Oh, this is dangerous for both teams because Rodriguez not having a block down to half.
Yeah, but he's got those procs going. He's got some good brain freeze procs. He's putting out a lot more damage than they expected him to. He was kind of meek here in the first minute and a half. Here at the 2 minute and a half mark, you're seeing Rodriguez get a lot of those crits.
And no, he's betting it all right now. He trinketed very early to get onto his target, dumping the damage in. That was a very risky move right there. That Blazing Speed is trying to get out of the desecration right there, but Rodriguez solo. Wow, there goes the Spirit Link Totem. Necrotic Strike was negated right there.
Yeah, Glyptic's mana is still looking good. Drudenhouse, not so good.
Oh, but look at all those dots on Glyptic right now. It is so back and forth. We see a Strangulate onto Dakroth to stop the damage, but Glyptic is in trouble right now. Oh, he gets that counter spell on that healing surge right there, and he goes down. Rodriguez, excellent counter.
Yeah, incredible. Dakroth gets peeled off. Rodriguez stays in the fight the entire time. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, but look, Dakroth also very low right now.
Whoa. DK, what's up?
All right, and he's extremely low, down to 4,000 hit points. No CC onto Drudenhouse right now. Dakroth still not out of it. Oh my God, but damage on Fabs now. All right, but Big Fear onto another with no answer to that. And they're going to kill Fabs to end the round. Wow.
You know what was super great about that whole fight is that Drudenhouse had no mana.
Oh, the entire
It was pretty much just Rodriguez like standing toe to toe. Like, you're either going to kill me or I'm going to kill you. And Drudenhouse just kind of dancing around. And Glyptic just finally caught some CC just a little bit. Just a 2-second blanket silence was all it took. And earlier they had that deep freeze to death coil, which I've been waiting on for a while now. Or at least that deep freeze to Poly. We haven't seen too much control coming out of them. Ring of Valor, however, is very difficult to control on because you can be hit, by that Warlock spell lock anywhere. You can be gripped in. I mean, there's just so many things that can go wrong when you're casting in the open. So I'm glad, though, that they were able to find that opening and really put together MLS's, control scheme because there's such a combo-based comp You know, they get you into Warlock CC, into a Fear, into a Deep, into a Poly, and it just goes downhill from there.
Oh, it's true. And you guys at home that are following along, of course, the spectator interface shows both buffs and debuffs under each player frame. Watch Rodriguez's buffs. I've seen him spell steal many, many things. I said he spell stole the Demon Soul. I saw a couple Riptides that were spell stolen. It's very important to keep on top of those things.
Yeah, you can really put a lot of hurting on the other team's healer if you steal any sort of major buffs he's giving his team. And that's it's a little bit more difficult to lock a shaman out or kind of edge him out using spell steal, but it's always worth a try because you never know what other buffs you're going to get. Any little bit counts, especially for MLS, because what they want to do is they want to kind of go to that mid to late game. They have such good survivability, not on Ring of Valor, but on any other map. They can afford to have a long game, strip you of your buffs, wait for their cooldowns again, and then just kill someone. They'll set up on you and kill someone. That's how MLS works. Thoroughly impressive, however, that they were able to pull that off with all the pressure that another was putting on them. And we saw Fabio almost score a 2v3 kill in Dakroth, so it is apparent that that was a very close match. Oh,
it's very true. It was a great back and forth. I mean, I thought it was going to go in the favor of Yaz Presents for a while there. But DNAW Trio.
Like I said, man.
Now known as GameSense. And of course, you guys following along at home, Yaz Presents might not be a name that you recognize because they used to be Showtime, of course.
Yeah.
When they qualified. Let me get these teams back into the game right now because I'm sure they want to get a rematch on.
So this would basically be huge if GameSense DNAW were able to 2-0 the EU first place qualifier, Yaz Presents. It would be massive.
And it went the other way before, of course.
Yep.
Being up 1-0 on the guys that sent you home, basically, at the end of the regionals.
And it's not just a confidence boost at this point. It's actually them staying in this tournament. So GameSense needs this win very badly. Otherwise, they really do not stand much of a chance getting up to that top 4 because Yaz Presents, obviously will gain 3 tournament points off of this and further secure their spot in our single elimination bracket. So GameSense needs it, and they're playing like they need it.
Oh, definitely. And you can tell, I mean, all day. Ever since they showed up this morning, they looked ready to play.
And one thing that's very difficult to do as an MLS is commit. Commit to a fight, especially on Ring of Valor against a DK team or a really skilled RLS, if they get on you on Ring of Valor, of course, if the Rogue ever sees you. But being able to commit to that and fight in the face of all that pressure here on main stage and against that specific Shadow Cleave, which is extremely difficult for them, it speaks volumes of the skill here of GameSense.
Oh, it definitely does. So we're going to follow another this time because he almost got that kill. That Spirit Link Totem negating all that Necrotic Strike.
He will not make such a mistake again. Every time I see another talk or predict something, he's just
so the gates are going to open.
Cool,
Ruins of Lordaeron going to be what possibly determines if GameSense can make it to the final or not. Straight from the start, though, another is going to get on his target, and that's going to be Rodriguez yet again. All right.
Sorry about that.
Another looking for his target right now. Again, being able to stick right on him.
Yeah, Rodriguez under a ton of pressure. The Mage is always the obvious choice, and the DK is the obvious choice.
Another coiled right out of that ring right there, and that Shatter almost set up for a ton of damage, able to be picked back up, and of course the DK can negate so much damage when they need to. He's got both pets out, Pet Transform, and the Gargoyle, so they are serious right now.
Yeah, and this is important to note that Fabio and Glyptic have complete control of 2. Absolutely.
Rodriguez down to half right now. Another stole some spell. Can't tell what it got quite yet. We'll find out in a bit when he uses it. Could be something huge. All right, Rodriguez picked back up with Drudenhouse able to keep him topped. Looks like Drudenhouse mana sitting pretty good right now. About the same as Glyptic.
The only problem is their positioning. They're pushed back into their starting area. Rodriguez, he's able to line up here on the door, but now once he's back in here, it's going to be painfully easy for another to just back out of any fight and line aside any damage. And let's see, of course, he's dead, taking a ton of damage here in the mid. Pops that second AMS at about the 1 minute mark. And like I said, MLS wants to take this to 2.5, 3.5 minutes.
I like the line of sight that another's using. He knows that it will be dangerous if he gets over there because they're going to go on him every time he pokes his head out right there. Frozen.
Impressive. Another unable to close distance here.
Oh no, not at all. This is trouble for another right here. There goes his IBF to get out of that deep freeze. I know he was saving it specifically for that. We have a counter spell onto. Might have been resisted.
Yeah, but Fabio caught some CC finally. Starting to see. I was looking for a Fear out of it, but Dakroth busy out in the field, pumping damage.
Okay, they know. See, I really like that Yaz Presents is identifying that was a dangerous situation to put yourself in when both casters were just sitting back there. Oh, this is not good for another right now. He's stuck, not being able to get to Rodriguez whatsoever.
Yeah, but this is exactly what the MLS needs. They just needed to survive that initial onslaught. They needed to bait another's cooldowns and just catch him without that AMS and dot trolling, and he will
Every time another goes on a target, the target just leaves the area completely. We've seen ports, blinks, and the team of GameSense, they are serious right now. They're playing the line of sight game so well.
Yep, trading death coils there, death coil into Rodriguez while another catches his and gets peeled. Glyptic has seen almost no pressure the entire match.
Oh, but the damage onto Fabs, and look, any time that they can cast on a target, life just spikes down. We have an impact stun onto another who gets hexed. He's still trying to get out of the way. Look at that, line of sighting everything he can.
Yeah, Fabio has replaced
and
his
here's the second deep freeze. I don't think he has an answer to it. There he goes. He trinkets out of it. Yeah. Rodriguez down to half with a silence onto Druden because he dispelled that UA, but UA gets right back onto Rodriguez. And another, barely making it out. Wow, if that shell wasn't up, he would have been in trouble.
Yeah, here we go. Rodriguez pushing out into open. This is where they're going to commit. They got a fear going on Fabio and a poly onto Glyptic, who trinkets it. And surely they know that. You see Glyptic falling back behind Tomb, where his team has control. Fabio back to his portal, so they're going to sit on top of Tomb and guard while their cooldowns come back up. Another's very vulnerable. Glyptic into a blanket silence. Another spiking down to about half. He's only got UA and Chris Agony on him, though. Dat ring.
Gets ringed outside of it as he leaves it. That would have been absolutely dangerous if he got caught on top of the Tomb. Rodriguez down to half. Going to see a little bit of reset. I'm sure both Shamans really want to drink up a little bit.
Ooh. So Rodriguez goes for a quick block and pops a Blizzard around the corner there just to get him in combat. But he's going to stay in the midfield. You see Dakrov playing way up on that, trying to go for a big howl. Glyptic caught into a deep freeze. Glyptic is having some mana issues here. He's almost at the 20k mana mark, and the amount of healing he's having to pump out, he's only got about another 30 45 seconds of any sort of sustain.
Exactly, and you can tell that GameSense knows that there's no more defensive cooldowns really for Yaz Presents as you see them push up and take the center field yet again.
Zero trinkets on Yaz Presents PS.
Oh yeah, which means if they can get some CC, there we go, Spell Lock on top of Glyptic right now. Another still cycling through everything he has defensively.
I mean, they're just, Yaz Presents knows this matchup particularly well. And you can tell because they've not made the mistake of extending into this. They identified when that MLS was going to push out and go for the kill, and another's done an amazing job playing defensively. But here's that, they call full fear on Glyptic, and it is true. If they can catch him into a deep freeze or any sort of CC, into a death coil, good enough for me as he spikes down to about half, but it's just not going to be enough to really put him in danger right now. Rodriguez taking some pressure from
it's a deep freeze onto Glyptic. He still doesn't have a trinket right now. 50,000 hit points. There goes Spirit Link Totem. That was kind of early, but still could have waited a little bit longer there, but it was good to do it early before he got silenced. But Rodriguez, there goes his next block right there. That's his second block. They know he's a target. They can go on now.
I bet you he's kicking himself for using that block earlier, but at least he gave him that second Icy Veins.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to snap when you know you've got it. And there goes the Spirit Link Totem, barely hitting the third player. If they would have killed that totem right there, Rodriguez really didn't get much heal out of it because of that. We see a stun onto Druden House right there with Rodriguez really low right now. Another is trying to close the gap.
Yeah, Frost Barrier saving lives right there. Big absorb for Rodriguez. Managing to get out of that situation, but he does not need to extend in the middle. He gets ripped, and that's a bad position for
out of line of sight of his Shaman who gets stunned by the pet. Rodriguez down to 10,000 hit points, able to, look at that, get his shields back up.
Almost doomed. Glyptic at sub 10k mana. Both Shamans pretty even on their mana, and probably their cooldowns. I'm pretty sure Spirit Link is still down for both Druden House, having used his fairly recently.
Oh no, GameSense, look at the hit point bars, but Glyptic no mana right now. Oh, with the Necrotic Strike stacking up, Fear on top. Zakharov barely picked up, but that means that Rodriguez isn't going to get the heals as he gets impact stunned and goes down.
Just nothing he can do in the face of that AMS DK. You know, we talked about it so many times yesterday. The DK is the natural choice here. Shadow Cleave is why so strong against Wizards. The DK can stand toe-to-toe with any caster and negate so much control and damage for a pretty decent period of time. And during that period of time, he's not limited by, you know, say like a Warrior's defensive cooldowns. He's still doing tons of damage. Tied up 1-1, I expected nothing less from EU. Champions and their runners-up.
And you can tell why these teams are so good. I loved that tactics choice by GameSense at the beginning.
Yeah,
playing the entrance. Yeah, if this was old school Ruins of Lordaeron, where they could have had the side, that would have been even more effective. But you saw them control that cone of line of sight. Every time that any one of their players stepped in, immediately